Hey guys, Cam for 15 back at it with another video for you guys, and I'm back with another Dragon Ball Super manga chapter review for you guys as I'm holding my microphone. Background information, I actually broke this thing, so I gotta hold it while I talk. But it is what it is. I'll have to get a new one, save up money and get a new one, but yeah, it is what it is. Anyways, we're back with more Dragon Ball Super manga chapter, back of this Dragon Ball Super superhero little mini arc we're getting in the manga. And pretty much, this chapter was kind of more of the same of what we had last week. It's just a chapter that's really just more about Trunks and everything. Just really progressing this plot line of this Dr. Hedo storyline and things like that. So yeah, no, you have your Trunks storyline. Mai gets involved in this, which the community's up in flames about that whole stuff right then in itself. Again, I'll give you my take about that whole thing and where I kind of stand on everything. Personally, just a sneak peek, I don't really have an issue with it outside the age gap thing. And plus, I think a lot of people are kind of making this whole thing a little bit, I wouldn't say over, actually no, I think people are making this such an overblown type of issue. Like, they're in the community actively raging about it, like, with ease. Now I understand why, but I don't think it's that, like, ultimately it's that major big thing for the story of Dragon Ball. I just think they're not used to having a romance story being pushed this heavily like that. So yeah, and I think honestly it's been a while since really Goten and Videl, but a lot of people look at the age factor. But I say the age factor, but I think they just don't like the fact that there's a romance angle being pushed between two characters that, and let's be real honest, two characters that, guess what, people don't really care. So yeah. Anyways, this is Dragon Ball Super Chapter 89. I don't know what the heck's going on. Titled A Rival Appears. Now, if you remember from last chapter, Goten and Trunks raided Dr. Hedo's base. And I don't know why my freaking thing is. What the heck is going on here? Sorry guys, my freaking microphone is acting. Okay, so I'm back. As I was saying, they raided Dr. Hedo's base and their assignment X1 and X2 gear to save their school friends from the zombies, the zombie robots that Dr. Hedo created. And on top of it, they found a disc that contained pretty much information, Dr. Jiro's information on like androids and things like that. So, we find out that a few days has passed. Trunks is on his computer, or his laptop, really, trying to figure out like what's on this disc, what is this whole thing, and then he can't get really nothing on it. So then he goes to his mom's computer, he goes to Bulma's computer to try to break what's going on, and he actually does get through, and we actually see the blueprints to Cell in his larva form and everything. Probably if Trunks had looked more into this, because he kind of is like, what the heck, this weird freaking creature, what the heck. Now, don't know why the hell Vegeta or Bulma never told, Trunks about fucking Cell or some shit like that. Like, you can even think Gohan would have told him, like, oh, maybe Gohan would have at least told Goten, and Goten could have said, oh yeah, my brother did this really cool thing. He actually saved the world one time against this really crazy monster called Cell. You would think that Trunks would know about this. You would think. Now, maybe not first form Cell. He probably obviously would see something in regards to final form Cell, or at least the thing is, his parents would have at least told him about, like, oh yeah, there was this freaky bad guy we fought. No, maybe Vegeta not, but maybe Bulma more than likely. But he has no clue about Cell. Not the way he looks. So he's like, oh, okay, what the heck? But we see the blueprints of Cell in this and everything. So it's gonna be interesting to see. Okay, they have the blueprints of Cell. It seemed like Dr. Hedo had the full blueprints of Cell and everything. The question is, how was he only able to get him to a second form? Obviously, that had to have an impact on what the disc did. But anyways, it creates a virus on Bulma's laptop You know, Bulma comes in, she's like, "What the hell are you doing on my laptop? Did you break it again, Trunks?" Um, she goes on make the mention. She's like, "Geez, you got your father's talents and everything, but when it comes to my talents, my genes, you ain't got none of that shit." Pretty much, I was like, "Well, okay, yeah." I guess he does really take after more like his father, huh? So far, so far. I think as he grows older, he's definitely gonna get smarter because we can see he's not that good at math either. I think when he gets older, unless they rewrite the character where he's more of a fighter than a smart guy, which, you know, yeah, it'd kind of be a little bit of copy and paste like Gohan, but you know, you would think, oh well, he's the son of Bulma and Trunks. Bulma and Trunks, my God, get that shit out of your head, guys. He's the son of Vegeta and Bulma. You would think we would have Vegeta's strengths, his, you know, fighting prowess, as well as the fact that he has his mom's smarts, which would essentially make him kind of, in a way, the perfect kid. Now, in a way, we kind of see how Future Trunks kind of molds into that, but that's mostly because of the time period he was in, with the future timeline. Again, which shows differences between future Trunks and and present Trunks, which I do honestly appreciate. You don't make them word for word copy and paste the same exact character. You at least make them different based on the times that they're in. Present Trunks is more peaceful, is a more peaceful type of guy, lives in a more peaceful time period. He may be more lax and relaxed because, well, guess what? He lives with literally one of the richest families in the world, and he is the son of the richest person in the world, you know, and everything. So it would make sense that he wouldn't take things as seriously as much as Future Trunks did. So yeah, but anyways, we see Bra or Bola, whatever you want to call her. She just comes in. I don't know how old she is. I think she's like 2 or 3. I don't know. I don't know the damn timeline of the age of these characters. See, that's one thing. I kind of wish, like, oh, they had like a, you know, kind of a text box where it said, oh, Bulla, you know, age 3 or something like that, so we could get specified. But this young kid Bulla just comes in. She freaking just eliminates the virus that was on Bulma's computer, and pretty much Bulma's like, well, it seems like, you know, my daughter's like me, so it's like, all right, yeah, okay, sure. Anyways, Bulma's like, okay, look, you got a special job starting today, and we find out that Bulma is sending Mai to school with Trunks. So they both go to school. Trunks kind of perks up. He's like, oh, okay, sure, she's coming to school. Now, the narrator goes on to say, Bulma realized that it might seem unnatural and spark some rumors if Mai, who appears to be Trunks' age, never attended school. So she enrolled Mai at Trunks' high school. Now, the thing is, again, it's this whole thing is just Bulma know that that's the peel-off gang right then and there from when she was a teenager. If she does know, this move makes sense. Either or, it was always questionable, like, okay, then how would they get Mai to school? Because in the drafts and everything, you know, in the preview images for this upcoming arc, you know, one of the first images was Mai in a schoolgirl outfit. And I was like, okay, how did she get to school? And in the first chapter of this arc, she wasn't in school. Now we find out why. Now, I personally think Bulma does know that's the peel-off gang, because this move alone would show, like, okay, listen, I can clearly tell this kid's no older than, you know, Trunks, and she's probably the chick from all the years back then. Let me send her to school with Trunks so things don't get awkward, and then I'm questioned, why do you harbor a teenage girl working for you, and she's not going to school? So yeah, that's kind of the thing there. Now, obviously, the teacher introduces everybody to Mai. You have most of the guys like, oh, wow, she's pretty mature, and she's kind of cute, too. Yes, we know. Mai's cute. Nice. And everything. So, yeah. Teacher's like, all right, Trunks, make sure you let her be caught up to speed with everything that goes around here in the school and everything. Rula, which I forgot to make a mention. I know it was also another big talking point, that the fact of they find Toriyama and Toritaru finally drew black characters in the anime right. really. But let's be honest, that kind of started with Oob way back at the end of Z, because Oob is a black character and he looks typically like a typical black character, but the only thing is he's got a mohawk. But we see how now they draw black characters a lot more relevant to the time, because if you don't know the whole history of Dragon Ball, when it comes to Dragon Ball, black people were drawn with, obviously they were black, but they had big lips. Remember, go look at the original Dragon Ball with Staff Officer Black. Hell, go watch the Boo Saga again, and in the tournament there was that one black guy. He had big lips. Mr. Popo can also be used as something like that as well. He has obviously big lips. Simple as that. So I will say this: I appreciate Toriyama and Toritaro drawing black characters in a normal sense, like their other characters, where you don't have them have a specific feature that makes it, you know, so obvious, like, okay, that's kind of thing. And plus, with the fact that times have changed and everything, and in a way racism is a huge issue, and I don't want to get into race and everything, but you know, I will say, as a black person, I appreciate Toriyama and Toritaro, you know, drawing these characters in a more respectable manner and everything. So yeah. Now again, Rula asked Mai, like, wait, I heard you live at Capsule Corporation and everything, and pretty much Mai's like, yeah, I work there. I pretty much work there, so yeah, I do live there. And pretty much they're like, oh wow, I didn't, that's so insane, that's pretty insane. And then you're going to school on top of it too. Wow, that's crazy. You know, you have it to wear Scale. Yeah, it's another weird name. He asked Mai, like, hey, do you have a boyfriend? Trunks just cuts in. He's like, no, she doesn't, dude. Just stop. Don't ask her. Now, that's when we get introduced to another transfer student, and that is the character known as Beta, who is pretty much the antagonist in this week's episode. Now, some girls think that he's cute, and we see throughout this chapter, Mai looks like she's taking an intrigue in him. She just keeps giving him these looks and everything, like, and Trunks is like, whoa, this guy comes in and he's trying to steal my girl, pretty much. So, sorry, thirsty. So, he pretty much, in this chapter, we see the antics between Trunks versus Beta. And first instant, it's a basketball thing. Trunks is dominating more than he's dominating, and he's doing this to show off to Mai. And next thing you know, Beta comes in. You know, he's pretty much, you know, doing what he's trying to do. And the reason is, we find out is Dr. Hedo's trying to find out, because we see how, you know, after the ball gets stolen from Trunks from Beta, literally Trunks just goes, I would say, martial arts type of way. He just does the phasing in and phasing out, and then next thing you know, he's right there when he was on one side. And Rula makes a mention and like, wait, how the hell did he get all from one side of the court to the other side of the court that fast? But the reason why Beta is there, and we see how Dr. Hedo is looking in on that and everything, and he's like, whoa, that he got there pretty fast and everything. Now Dr. Hedo's like, wait, is that the kid that freaking stole the disc and everything? And the thing is, the issues that the other robot zombies have is they have really bad memory, so they can't remember much because they're technically like dead and everything, and they got rotten brains. And pretty much the one guy's like, well, to be honest, the guy was blonde, so I don't remember and everything. And then Hedo meant to mention to the other zombies, like, do you guys know anything that's going on or something like that? Do you remember? And they're like, I don't remember. Sorry, boss, and things like that. So, yeah. That's the thing. Now, again, Dr. Hedo's like, well, regardless, the main culprit definitely attends this school. And pretty much he says, hunt him down for me, Beta number 1. Now, the one thing that's interesting about the fact is he calls him Beta number 1. We see later in the chapter, in the big robot suit, it's also called Beta number 2. So I think Beta number 1 and Beta number 2, they're the I guess you can say they're the test versions before Gamma 1 and Gamma 2 end up being built. So that obviously would make a whole lot of sense. So he gets the word from Dr. Hedo to pretty much hunt down Trunks the entire time. Trunks and Mai are sitting in class. He's like, hey, look, man, hey, listen, I don't know why you're into this guy so much, but look, it's all right. I'll definitely show this guy up next time in basketball. And she's like, dude, shut up. I don't care. And she's pretty much like, right now, you shouldn't care. Look at this guy. And pretty much she sees that, look, this dude seems off. I think he's but look closer. He's an android, clearly. And Trunks sees this and everything, and pretty much, Mai's breaking down like, he seems more like an android, probably not of the caliber of 18, looks a little bit different, but who knows what that could be and things like that. So, yeah, now she makes mention like it looks like he might be looking for somebody, so that's the thing. So you just get this montage of Beta trying to take down Trunks and everything because Dr. Hedo's like, all right, prove to me that he's like some sort of superhero. So because if you remember, regular humans, when they see Goku and his friends do these martial arts acts, then they don't understand that whole energy and realm and everything. They think they're doing superhero tricks. So that kind of gag is still ongoing. Dr. Hedo's not used to that. And he's like, okay, let me see this superhero gig and things like that. So you just see montages of Beta trying to catch Trunks and see if he'll do something out of the ordinary, but Trunks really doesn't do anything. Now the thing is, Trunks does pick up what he's trying to do. He just acts in the most normal way possible. So yeah, it goes to like Beta trying to throw a football at him, Beta trying to throw like soup on him. The only thing that he outsmarts Trunks in is like I said, this math problem. Trunks isn't that best in math, and the only reason why Hedo did this because one of the zombies like, I don't think that would help us find out who the culprit is with superpowers. And then Hedo's like, well, I don't care. I wanted to get some moral victory because he didn't like losing to Trunks all the damn time, which I found absolutely hilarious that he's like, I don't want to lose to this kid. I'll beat him in math. I know I'm strong at math. So the day is over. Everything looks like it's going great and everything. Dr. Hedo hasn't found anybody with superpowers. And then that's kind of when things go from bad to worse in this situation because all of a sudden, Goten shows up, and for some dumbass reason, because Goten is a clueless idiot in some cases, he goes to pick up this tennis ball for these girls, and he not only picks up the tennis ball, he picks up the pickup truck right then and there. And mind you, the ball didn't even roll that far under the truck. And I'm just like, are you serious, dude? Come on! Didn't your mom and Gohan or even your dad? Well, actually, Goku's gone, so he's not really here at the moment. What the hell am I talking about? But didn't your mom, didn't she especially even Gohan tell you, hey, don't use your martial arts power and stuff like that because they're gonna think that they're gonna think you're weird and you got superpowers, and everything. And then the tennis girls are like, what the? They're like, whoa, what the? Beta sees it's like, huh? Hold on a quick second. And then Trunks is just like, that fucking idiot! What the hell, man? Mai's over here is like, oh, it's Goten. All right, sure. Yeah, it's Goten, all right. Yeah. My God. That's probably my reaction. I'm like, oh, it's Goten. That's how much Goten is meaningless to this series. They focus more on Trunks than Goten, but I digress. So yeah, Beta makes a mention like, okay, that's the dude. Hedo tells him, all right, go after him. Next thing you know, Beta, he just rips off his school outfit and he wears I guess somewhat of a hero-like costume, and he's like, all right, I found you, Goten, or something like that. He calls him a thief and everything. He goes and say I'm Beta #1, and everything. Here, where's the disc you took and everything? And Goten's like, what the frick are you talking about, man? So yeah, now he goes in to make the mention about Dr. Hedo. Goten's like, who the hell is that guy? I don't know him. And pretty much, Beta's like, well, listen, Dr. Hedo will be a world-known person, so you better put some respect on his name, pretty much, and everything. So yeah, Goten's like, okay, whatever, I'm about to go home. And pretty much Beta's like, oh, you're not getting away this time. So Beta and Goten start fighting. Well, Goten is dodging attacks that Beta is throwing his way. Now the other students think this is like some sort of hero side type of, I guess, show or promotion or some play that they're throwing, because of course the human characters in this series are absolutely dumbasses. Geez Louise. So that doesn't fall for a stretch of the tree of the fact that, okay, yeah, these people still don't get this crap. Regardless, now, Beta's like, okay, you need to return the good disc. You need to return the stolen disc from the doctor, anyways. And Goten's like, what the hell? What disc you talking about now? How Goten does not remember? No clue. Everything. So yeah, now Trunks makes a mention that obviously Beta is a lot stronger than the other zombies that they were facing and everything. So in order to help Goten out, to become Saiyaman X1, he has to go away. And like a typical hero thing, that's the thing. So he uses the bathroom excuse. He's like, oh, hey, I'm about to go use the restroom, and everything. So can you hold my bag for me? And she's like, okay. Oh, that's fine. And now if you're wondering, okay, why didn't Mai say, like, why are you going to the restroom in this time? Well, Mai would know that Goten can probably handle this thing on his own, pretty much. So, you know, of course she's not gonna be. She's in the know now, so to her, she's not really worried. She's like, oh, that's Goten. No, well, if there's a fight, well, he'll take care of it and everything. So yeah, Trunks shows up in his Saiyaman X1 gear, and pretty much this shocks Beta by surprise. This even gets the zombies like, oh, that's it, that guy. That was the guy that did it. He's the guy that stole everything. And pretty much, Hedo's like, all right, take that guy down. He's the real culprit, pretty much. So, yeah. Now, the thing is, you know, that's when they start their whole fight. Trunks gives Goten his transformation device. We find out that the Pilaf gang, or Pilaf, finished his transformation little wristwatch earlier in the day, so that was good for them. You have a kind of a back and forth between, well, I want to say a back and forth between Trunks and Beta, but you know, it looks like Trunks gets a resounding shot, but he's like, heh, that's the best you can give me, yada yada yada. He pretty much honestly just dominates Beta for the most part because, well, Trunks is stronger. That's simple enough. He would be stronger than an android. So kind of that's the thing. Now, in the meantime, with this whole situation, you know, the other school students, they're like, hey, they're going down to the football field. You know, what is it? Hey, Mai, do you want to come see this? Now, Mai's like, I guess so. Now, Mai makes a mention, she's like, that Saiyaman X1 guy, I feel like I know him from somewhere before. Which, yes, it's Trunks. She does know him. So, in a way, they're kind of sprinkling the little Gohan. That was like a Gohan Videl tease, because if you remember back at that point when Gohan was a great Saiyaman, Videl had the sneaking suspicion that it was always freaking Gohan that was great that was a great Saiyaman. So they're kind of keeping this whole thing where Mai, in the way, is kind of like Videl, where she's like, I have a feeling like I know that guy. He looks, you know, that's kind of the thing there. So yeah. Now we cut back to Dr. Hedo. He's just loving everything that Trunks doing. He's like, oh my god, this guy is so cool. This Saiyaman X1 is so dope and everything. So we see why, because if you remember watching Dragon Ball Superhero, Dr. Hedo loves superheroes, and that was the main reason why he created Gamma 1 and Gamma 2. Here we get really this reasoning why he gets the idea of this whole thing and stuff like that. And it's absolutely funny because there's a line where he says, he's like, what a sharp costume, so stylish, and yet we cannot lose this battle. I absolutely was laughing out loud. All of a sudden, Beta number 1 hits his button, has this armored suit, and it's Beta number 2, this battle jacket android. So there's your inspiration for Gamma number 2 right there. These are more than likely the inspirations of Beta, the I guess you could say, well, literally the Beta phase, pun entirely intended, of Gamma 1 and Gamma 2, their test phase, pretty much. So yeah, that's kind of the thing. It fires off a rocket. Trunks redirects it into the ocean because, yeah, of course, and everything. So yeah, that's kind of the thing. Now, Trunks punches Beta down. Beta falls over. Mai was in the vicinity. She falls over, drops, I believe, which is Trunks' bag or something like that. And then the disc kind of slides out. And then that's when Beta sees that. Hedo sees that and he's like, get the stolen disc. So Beta charges after Mai. He captures Mai and everything. Next thing you know, Beta number 1 is flying off. We find out Beta number 2 is actually kind of its own entity, and it's just firing off these rockets and everything. Trunks has to protect the people, or protect the other students from these rockets that would literally kill these people. And he's just doing that, but in the meantime, Mai's getting away, Beta's getting away with Mai, and he has no time because it's just non-stop rockets that are firing off. Eventually, Goten comes in. He's like, don't worry, Trunks, I got this. You go save Mai. So yeah. Then Trunks, he ends up using this attack he calls it Steam Cleaner High Pressure. It just destroys the battlesuit android. It defeats Beta. Mai flies away after because the recoil of the attack. Trunks then catches Mai, and in Mai's perspective, she looks up a bit. She sees Trunks' chin, or to her, a Great Saiyaman X1's chin. Then it makes her flashback to Future Trunks, when Future Trunks held her back in the Future Trunks arc when he saved her, when she was Kid Mai. And then she's like, Trunks? Now, you think, oh, so she knows that Great Saiyaman X1 is Trunks. Now, the way the tone is speaking in this, he's like, hey, are you okay and everything? And she's like, yeah, I'm fine. Now, in the meantime, she's getting a little bit flustered, obviously with the lines on her face. She's blushing and everything. And she's like, okay, I'm on. Trunks like, all right, I'm off. I'm awesome. I'm going to be off to go help out. So that's kind of the thing. Goten finishes up on Beta number 2. They pretty much do their little pose to the students, and like, oh, we'll be back. We clean up everything and things like that, and then they fly off and stuff like that, So yeah. Now Trunks, of course, comes right back, and he's like, oh, hey, Mai, I heard there was superheroes here and everything. I guess I missed a lot, didn't I? So yeah. Now Mai goes on to say, it's like some long forgotten feeling just came back to me. What she's talking about is the romance she has for guys, I guess you can say, but this feeling of being in love. So I'm guessing it seemed like after Future Trunks arc was over, she kind of got over this whole love thing, and she wasn't really focused on romance. And next thing you know, she gets saved by this person she doesn't know, this superhero. Those I guess you could say those the love factor starts kicking in and everything. Where I guess you see somebody doing something heroic like that, so cool. Now she says, Saiyaman X1 is actually impressive. So we find out, no, that she doesn't know that's Trunks. She thinks that it's Saiyaman X1 and everything. And Trunks is like, wait, hold on, you don't say. Well, then that means I'm saying. And then he gets his mouth covered by Goten. And then Goten's like, oh, hey, Mai, I'm glad you're not hurt and everything. Those two heroes really put in the work, didn't they? Obviously, Trunks is like, Goten, what the fuck are you doing? And Goten's like, dude, if you freaking tell the secret to Mai, well, guess what? Everybody else is going to hear you. So, Trunks loses yet again. He gets cock-blocked, this time by his best friend in this month's chapter. So, yeah. Mai's just like she's in her swooning phase right now, and she's like, I hope I see him again. And Trunks is like, yeah, sure. I'm him. You see me every day. So yeah. The chapter ends off with Beta walking back into Dr. Hedo's lab. He's like, I'm sorry I lost and everything. Dr. Hedo goes on to make the mention, she's like, yeah, it was a total failure. But he goes to make the mention, I've never seen such, awesome hero costumes and things. He makes a funny, he's like, so did you get their autograph? And Beta's like, no, I did not. I was fighting them. What the hell do you want me to do? Everything. And he's like, yeah, that's right. So they're no more than wicked villains. I love Dr. Hedo. He was a funny cat and superhero. I think he's funny here and everything. Now, they do have what they look like, including Mai with this, so they're more than likely going to target Mai again. Because Hedo makes a mention, like, the disc needs to be return under all cost and everything. And then Dr. Hedo goes on to make the mention, now it's time to begin work on the next androids. This time, I'll make far stronger and cooler ones than those so-called heroes. Now, he makes the mention at the end of the chapter in the last panel, wasn't Cyberman X's 2 red cape just the coolest? Let's start from that. Now, if you remember from the movie, what is it? From the movie, the Gammas had, red capes, pretty much. So, that's kind of the thing there. And really, you just see like, okay, yeah, we get the point of, yes, people called it prediction wise and everything. Yeah, because Gamma 2 has a red cape, so he's modeling Gamma 2 after Saiyaman X2. So clearly, everybody's predictions about Goten and Trunks' superhero personalities being that gives Dr. Hedo the inspiration of this whole hero stuff. Good. That obviously makes sense. That makes complete sense why that's going with. So we honestly could see the Gammas the next manga chapter, really. Maybe the next manga chapter. So maybe we actually do get a fight between Goten and Trunks versus the Gammas. Obviously, you would have to think maybe the Gammas actually take the W in this and they manage to retrieve the disc. But we'll see. Or maybe he just makes Gamma 2 first. But he specifies Android. So I think Gamma 1 and Gamma 2 are actually coming. It'll actually be shocking if they come in chapter 90. And we're gonna have a sparring match. We're gonna have a fight between Goten and Trunks, which would be another off-screen moment we didn't see before the movie. So that's kind of the thing there. So I think that's pretty cool and everything. I thought we got a solid chapter. For what it's worth, and some people might not be into this. I know some people are not into this whole slice of life stuff, but it just kind of build up till really the superhero stuff, and then we get to the main content which we're waiting for, which is whatever the next are, whether that's focused on Black Frieza, something after End of Z, don't know. Now, before I get out of here, obviously, I wanted to make a mention about the Mai storyline, the Mai Trunks relationship angle. I understand people do not like it, and everything. Now, I'm not defending this whole age gap thing. It may sound like I'm defending this relationship being happen, but here's the thing. I'm kind of like a sucker for romance, and I do like my romance stories in animes. Typically, you don't get that a lot in these shonen animes because these authors really don't feel like it's necessary to develop these, romance angles. But, I think if told right, romance angles in shonen anime can actually be quite endearing, quite nice. Now, obviously, again, the biggest part of this chapter that is coming out that not a lot of people, if anything, a large chunk of the community, Dragonball community, is this Mai Trunks relationship. They just don't like the age gap factor, the fact that, oh, it looks like Mai is definitely into Trunks now, and now the spark is lit. So now you're gonna have practically a woman who, spiritual wise, is probably in her late 50s, maybe early 60s, a much older woman who's into, say, a 15, 16-year-old teenage boy. Now, I do see some of the BS responses people give in terms of who's like this relationship and they don't mind it. Honestly, they're just better off saying, yes, I understand where you're coming from, but honestly, I don't really mind it. I see the issues with that, and that's kind of where I'm at. I see the issues with the age gap and everything, and I don't think that's cool. I don't think that's right. Everything, but I still like the developing part of this relationship between Trunks and Mai, and things like that. And a simple way to get around that whole thing is, okay, you just have it to where Mai just goes out in one panel and just say, Trunks, look, I do like you, but right now I don't think the time is ready for us to be a serious couple. Give me a few years, wait till we get older, and then I'll come back with an answer for you. And when they're about 20 years or older, or probably around the age of future Trunks and Mai are, but obviously in their you know, 20s, whether that's mid or late 20s, you know, then you can have them date, and then I guarantee people would have no issue with that because okay, Trunks is at least old enough. Even though my would probably be way, way older, like she'd probably be around that 70, 80 age gap. Regardless, it's still respectable for Trunks because even though the massive age gap, at least Trunks is, I guess you could say, an older character, so it's somewhat accepted. But you know, you have other people like, well, who cares? And they come up with these BS, you know, things like saying like, oh, well, when she revived back to when she was back to smaller, her like she was reverted back into her spiritual body. Her spiritual self was reverted back into a teenager as well. But it's like no, because she can still create and do and build robots and everything. She has knowledge of the fact that she's a lot older than her regular body looks like. So yeah. Now those people I don't agree with at all under any circumstances. My stance, and I believe I said it last week, last manga chapter. My stance on this whole TrunksxMai relationship is I understand why they're doing it. You know, as long as they, you know, make it acceptable in the terms of their ages. Like I said, you know, not now, but if when they're older, when their bodies are 20 years or their mid to 20s, I'm fine with it. And I don't see why people would complain, and I would be totally fine with it. And I would probably be more of they'd be like, okay, you just say you just don't like the relationship. And that's what the other side of the community. I think the thing is not a lot of people, you know, in the Dragon Ball community, they're used to these romance angles they put in their show. It's always mostly been about the fighting and everything. They never push these romance angles. You know, it's really never happened through the history of Dragon Ball. Like, they typically do these romance angles with these characters, you know, with giving little hints and things like that, like with the Goku Chi-Chi relationship and the Gohan Videl relationship. And then even with a Krillin 18 relationship. But really, most of the, like, you know, true like dating and things like that period for these characters, it's typically off screen. And most people with Dragon Ball, they only want to see the fight. Some people in Dragon Ball don't want to see the slice of life stuff. They don't want to see this romance stuff. Now, personally, I think this romance between Trunks and Mai is pretty cute, in my opinion. I see the issues with it, but at the end of the day, I do think it's pretty cute. And if you don't like me because of that, well, okay, I can understand why. I still do not like the age gap issue, and I can see where people are coming up with that point, so I do agree with that. I just think people in the community are just kind of over making this huge issue and overblown thing. And yes, obviously the main topics behind this, which is like child grooming and shit like that, that's not cool. But I think people are overblowing this whole TrunksxMai relationship. Like, dude, go back to freaking Dragon Ball, man, and they were doing some pretty like weird crap. Toriyama was doing some pretty weird crap thing. You had your main character Goku literally patting down a chick's like private areas. Like every chance he got the chance, he would do that. Is that not weird? Because you don't see guys doing that. And you know, guess what? That's kind of like assault on a woman, like sexual assault on a woman. Even though Goku's patting, that has those undertones there. You know, you know, the thing is, you have freaking, if we're bringing up this whole, you know, oh, well, Mai is significantly older than Trunks. Well, what the hell was Master Roshi doing back in the original Dragon Ball, always leeching off on these young girls, especially Bulma, literally trying to groom her back in the series and everything? Like, literally, there is a part in the original series where he says, I'll give you the Dragon Ball if you just raise up your skirt. Whether, you know, she was wearing no underwears or not, he literally told a teenage girl, raise up your skirt if you want this Dragon Ball. Sounds much like sexual assault right there. You know? People didn't bring up any issues with that back in the day because times were different. Now, I'm not condoning. Now, mind you guys, I'm not condoning what is going on with this TrunksxMai relationship in terms of the age gap. But I'm giving you examples of where I don't see people bringing this example up and everything. They didn't have an issue back in the past back then. When they go back and read the original manga, or they go back and watch the anime, the original anime, people kind of get a laugh out of that shit. But nobody brought that whole crap up. Now, maybe, you know, behind the scenes, they don't bring that up. Maybe they're like, well, yeah, you have a point right then and there. You know, Toriyama over-sexualized Bulma, and she was a teenage for half the original Dragon Ball series. Like, come on, yo. You know, if we're going to be consistent throughout the entire series. You know, that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. I think this TrunksxMai relationship is overblown. And when you compare that to old school Dragon Ball, this is more tame than anything. The only issue here is the age gap. And anything. You go back to the original Dragon Ball, like I said, I made the mention of like 2 instances. Goku touching a woman. Freaking Master Roshi and his perverted ways with Bulma and everything. Especially that one moment when they first met each other. And guess what? The age gap between Master Roshi and Bulma is massive. So keep things consistent across the board. I'm not defending the age gap issue between the Trunks and my relationship. I'm just putting out that specific interest. I'm like, I think you guys are overblowing it. You're trying to make this a much bigger topic than it doesn't really need to be. Like, the main thing is, yes, Toriyama and Toriitaru, you know, and even Toriitaru I think he came on an interview and say, I'm not kind of a fan of the Trunks-Mai relationship, but it is what it is. You know, yes, they are pushing the Trunks-Mai relationship. They are pushing that. But I don't see anything egregious or anything. And yes, now it seems like the spark for Mai with Trunks, it's starting to click. In terms of her liking Trunks, thinking that, oh, you know, Trunks is trying to remind me of future Trunks and everything. Had no issue with, you know, that's kind of the thing. Had no issue back and then with, you know, the Dragon Ball, with the original Dragon Ball content. Now, yeah, people will probably leave a comment and say, oh, I always had an issue with that. BS, you're lying to yourself, because you probably were laughing and giggling your ass off because you never thought about this. The only reason why people are thinking about this now is because they never thought the Pilaf gang would be this big of an impact in the storyline of where Dragon Ball Super has been going this entire time. They thought they were going to be one-off characters after Battle of Gods. And people are bringing this up now when it's like, well, go back to old school Dragon Ball. Nobody brought that shit up. Maybe because they don't want to bring it up. Don't know what people think. And again, I'm not defending it. And if you feel like I am, hey, you can call me out and say, hey, I think you're just defending this relationship. You're defending something that is inappropriate. At the same time, I'm also giving my thing. Like I said, I gave my scenario. I said, since the age gap is an issue, how would it be like where Mai just says, hey, you know, listen, I'm not ready to go all the way, you know, in a relationship. Let's wait till we get, I want to wait till we get older. And then I'll come back to you with a response. So that's kind of the thing there. You know, and then let's be honest, they've been hinting at this Trunks-Mai relationship back since Battle of Gods. Nobody had an issue with it when, you know, the Pilaf gang first arrived and they were kind of shipping Trunks and Mai back in Battle of Gods. Nobody brought that whole thing up. They thought, oh, it was a nice little cute little thing that was going to probably be a one-off. And then, no, the Pilaf gang works for Bulma now, and then Future Trunks arc happens, and then you find out, oh, that's a Future Mai and a Future Trunks working alongside each other. Interesting from that point on. Right then and there. So, you know, people didn't have an issue with Future Trunks, Future Mai. Now, that's more acceptable because they're much older characters and everything. But even then, people had no issues with the age gap between Future Trunks and Future Mai. Oh, Trunks is older, so it's pretty much accepted. We're fine with that. But now we get here, people have an issue, and people have an issue. And I understand the reason why. But it's like, you're making this a huge more topic than it already is. Maybe it has something to do with the fact that they don't like this storyline, this romance storyline. I don't know. You know, if you're not a fan of it, I would love to hear your thoughts on it. Maybe we can have a honest discussion, maybe a peaceful discussion. Personally, to me, honestly, I'm fine with the relationship. I'm fine with them pushing this Trunks-Mai relationship. And let's be honest, it was inevitable. Future Trunks and Future Mai were obviously some sort of couple. Yes, they played it off as, oh, they're companions and everything, but, you know, after the Goku Black arc, Trunks only has Mai. There is no future Bulma. So who else is he gonna get that he deeply cares about? Mai. So more than likely, future Trunks and future Mai, they ended up getting together now that they're in a peaceful time. And that was just a foreshadowing to what present Trunks and present Mai would more than likely end up becoming. A couple. Some people may not like it. You know, some people do like it. I'm in the middle. There's some aspects of this relationship I don't like. Obviously the age gap, but there's aspects where I do like of it. I do like the fact that, you know, Trunks is just a guy, just a boy that likes this girl. Now, he doesn't know that Mai is a lot older than what she looks like, but he likes her. You know, every guy has a crush when they're in high school. You know, for Mai, it's taken a while for her to click, but it seems like in this chapter, it clicked that she may be interested in someone. Now, she doesn't know that it's Trunks. She just knows it's just a superhero dude. Now, where the next chapter could go, simple as this. It could go just for the aspect Gamma 1 and Gamma 2 are built. We see them next week. They go after Trunks and Goten again, but as Saiyaman X1, but they're probably going to target Mai. Goten and Trunks are going to have to save Mai. In this whole fight, Goten and Trunks will more than likely lose because the Gammas are stronger than Goten and Trunks because they gave Piccolo and they gave Gohan, Super Saiyan Gohan, pretty much a run for their money a bit until, you know, they got their upgrades and things like that, where when Gohan went Ultimate and then when Piccolo went Orange Piccolo, even then when Piccolo went Orange Piccolo, he was still, it was still difficult for the Gammas, for him to beat the Gamma. Gamma, I think, yeah, he was fighting Gamma 2, I believe, yes. So, you know, that was kind of that's kind of the thing there. So obviously they're going to lose. Now, I think the thing is maybe they're going to try to capture Mai again and everything and bring her back. And then, you know, that's kind of the thing. Trunks will probably do something. I would envision, you know, with this whole thing, you know, that's when the secret's going to be revealed to Mai that, okay, Trunks was Great Saiyaman X1 this entire time. His helmet's going to come off at some point. I think he's going to probably do something heroic to save her. And everything, whether that's maybe he does give up the disc and say, okay, here's the disc, just take her but leave her alone, and maybe that will just have Mai be like, wait, he, you know, and maybe that'll spark something more in Mai, I don't know, where, you know, she'll do something, or like I said, maybe Trunks will do something cool in saving her, and it will be with his mask off this time, and then she'll realize, wait, you were Trunks the entire time. And that what gets the sparks flying in the relationship. And then I guess you go on from there. So, and probably to much people's chagrin, they won't like that. But, you know, I just gave you instances where they've done worse things in the past of this series compared to what they're doing with Mai falling in love with Trunks. Whatever. Yes, the issue is still there, but it's like, go back and look at old school Dragon Ball, man. Old school Dragon Ball. You know, this was tame compared to old school Dragon Ball. Old school Dragon Ball was off the chain wild in terms of undertones they were doing in that show. So yeah, but I think that's where the chapter is going to go. I think we will more than likely see the Gammas next chapter. Trunks and Goten will try to fight them off, but they're going to lose. More than likely, Trunks' identity is going to be revealed to Mai about the fact that, well, I wouldn't just say Trunks. Trunks and Goten's identities will be revealed to Mai, so she'll be in the loop. She'll know. It will be dependent on if when Mai sees this, will she fall for Trunks head over heels 100%, and she's into him now because now she'll think she's cool. He's cool like future Trunks is, which only means that she'll probably be acting a little bit more strangely to Trunks, and Trunks will be like, wait, what the hell's going on? Why is she acting like this? Which I think in terms of a romance thing, if you look outside the age gap, I think could lead up to kind of a little cute romance story between the two. But obviously some people don't. It's like that. I'm honestly fine with it outside the age gap. I just gave my reason what I would do. I just say have Mai just say, ooh, I'm not ready to go fully into a relationship. Let's just wait till we get older. And then Trunks will be like, oh, okay. So yeah. But anyways, that's kind of it of this manga chapter review. Solid chapter. That's what I think of this chapter. I also get my predictions for next month's chapter, which will be coming out February 20th. And yeah, but anyways, I'm gonna get out of here. Guys, like the video, leave a like, put in the comment section your thoughts on this week's manga chapter for Dragon Ball Super, as well as hit the subscribe button if you want to get more Dragon Ball Super content or any other anime content I upload to the channel. Till then, guys, stay safe out there and have a great rest of your day. Peace.